717. Well, now that we're going the formalities out of the way, how was your week last week, though, Lola?
Oh, it was a stressful one.
It was it.
There's always something to do.
There's always something to do.
Always something.
And having to do with all that stress.
Yeah.
But in good news, DJ Phil is back. Woo woo!
Keeping it real.
DJ Phil broke his arm, or twisted his arm. No, broke his arm, yeah? Twisted his arm and has been on bed rest for the last few weeks. And he's finally back with all the mischief and then the drama and everything else inclusive. So welcome back, DJ Phil. We missed you. We missed you so much. It's been so lonely without you. The only man in the studio that deals with all of us. But let's get into our stories for today. But before that, today on the show, we decided to sample some views on the issue of red flags, because I think we've all dealt with or seen some red flags at some point in our lives. We are dating the person, we know that, wait, yeah, there's something. But sometimes we just like to overlook it. We think love is blind, so we don't deal with it. And sometimes we don't even recognize the red flags at all. But there's some of us too who have earmarked what we consider red flags. Once we see this, we know there's danger ahead, you gotta run. What are your red flags, Lola?
For me, if I'm with you, I should be able to freely express myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like there's a bit of control
Mm.
in there, is a major red flag.
Oh.
Because, AJ, you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life.
True.
You're going to have kids with this person.
True.
You're going to be with this person. You should be able to freely express yourself.
True.
You shouldn't feel like you're being forced to do something that you don't want to.
Yeah.
And as a partner, if I'm communicating with you, I'm compromising for you. You should also compromise for me. So you should always find a mid-ground where, so if I can't communicate freely, if I feel there's an element of fear because you get cold and distant, or, it's a major red flag.
Okay. That
What
makes
about
sense.
you?
I was thinking about it now. Red flags. Someone who's very controlling, I would agree. Very domineering, doesn't allow me be myself. Someone who's stingy is a red flag. Because I don't ask for it. So if you won't even have the presence of mind to even give, then there's a problem. Someone who's stingy is definitely a red flag. Someone who's very conceited, thinks about only himself, talks about only himself, is focused only on himself, and doesn't really care about me or my growth. That is also a big red flag. So yeah, those are some of my red flags.
We have similar red flags.
Yeah.
I remember maybe a few years ago, I dated this guy. Anytime we'd go out, everything has to be about him. And I'm doing this, I'm working on this project, and I know this person, and went here. You can't even tell him about your day.
Wow.
I'm like, no, I can't do this, man.
We can't. It's okay. Take your considered stuff away. But we're asking you some of your red flags. What stands out and makes you go, nah, this is not it? Well, some people have been speaking about it, and Phil, if you're ready, we should come back to it, yeah? So we'll come back to that and get into that conversation. But let's get into our first story for today. And quite an interesting one we have. So let's talk about it. Hello, ladies. So there's a guy who I guess, or at least I can assume, that we're dating. Because as far as I'm concerned, whatever it is we think we have isn't dating. A man who is 40 plus and single, yet you want to keep the relationship secret. That's a no for me. Yeah, we've had sex like twice, but I'm not emotionally tied to him. I don't miss his presence. I just have this feeling that he's hiding things from me. He talks about past achievements, always vague about his job. Always big about his job discussions, talks big, but I think he's just lying or something. Am I weird? A gentleman that doesn't want the relationship to be public, and she feels there's a lot of questions that she's yet to unravel. What are your thoughts looking at this letter, Lula?
A lot of people would say the man has something to hide.
But you don't think so? Wait, hold on. Okay.
Because, I want to give the benefit of the doubt that, not every 40-year-old is in a committed, serious relationship or is married or something like that. You know, it could be a whole lot of, you know, factors. But yes, the very obvious one is, hello.
That there's probably a whole hidden family somewhere.
Yes, like, you know, he's probably, you know, married with kids.
3
you don't
kids.
know any. What's the point of being in a relationship like that if you don't feel emotionally fulfilled? It means you're going to be constantly starved emotionally. You can't do nice things with this guy. You can't go out with him. You can't do fun things. So,
But then, okay, now looking at it from this perspective, if someone tells you that, let's keep our relationship private, is that a red flag?
it is a red flag.
Hey,
Why do you want? I want to show you off to the world.
hey, but I don't want to be shown. I want to be.
Then you have
I
no
want to keep it
business
to
being with
ourselves.
me. You have no
Hey,
business, because why? Some people say, you know, we like private stuff.
Yeah.
Post me on your story.
Yeah.
No, there's something going on.
hey. So if you're with someone and then you're in a relationship and the person is just very, Charlie, babe, let's be private about things.
but why?
I like secrecy. You know, nobody
Ask
needs to know
yourself
our
questions.
business.
He's probably hiding something.
Ew.
Yeah. Would you accept to be in a relationship like that?
I don't know. I think I would. I definitely am someone who doesn't like my business out there, but I also want. I like privacy, but not secrecy.
Yeah.
So I want at least those that matter to know that we're together. I want to know your family. I want to know your friends. I want my friends to know you. I want my family to know you. I want everyone who matters to both you and I to know that we're together. But I don't necessarily see myself doing. On social media, I would post you on your
That's
birthday.
fine. You see, you said secrecy
Uh-huh.
and then privacy. That's some very private people.
Yes.
But if you're telling me your mom can't know, your friends can't know, my friends
Hey,
can't
that
know,
one,
it's a major red flag. It is a major red flag.
Is that a red flag for you? Send us a message. In fact, you can even give us a call 0559 242 717 and 0559 242 717. Our lady's in an interesting dilemma. She is dating a guy. Well, she thinks they might be doing something close to dating, but she's not entirely sure if it is. Reason being, the gentleman is 40 plus, is very likes to talk about himself. According to her, likes to talk big about things. However, he wants them to keep the relationship a secret. Yes, they've been physically intimate, but she doesn't miss his presence. She doesn't necessarily feel tied to him emotionally, and she feels that he's hiding something from her. He talks about his past achievement, talks about job discussions. Oh, no, very vague about his job discussion. So she doesn't necessarily know what's happening with job, where it is.
not even honest
He's not.
as
No,
well.
he wants to keep everything to his chest. So is that a reason for her to walk away? Is she being weird and demanding too much? Or sometimes you have to give it time. Sometimes people are not really comfortable around you. They need some time to,
But they've had sex
start
twice.
Hey, are you your boyfriend's girlfriend?
I think she can also explore like ways to make him open up, be honest, like ask him trick questions, you know? Or she can do some investigation on her own, check his Facebook friends, do some undercover investigation here and then see what she can dig up.
Okay.
That's if she's really into him.
Undercover things. Should you spy? Is it worth it? Anyways, we've been asking you about your own red flags. We've shared our own. DJ Phil will also share his. But now let's hear from you. So some of the conversations we asked you, and you're sending in your voice notes towards our WhatsApp number, you can as well continue to send it in 0532 300 927 0532 300 927. Send in your voice notes now. So those that have come in so far, let's take a listen.
I your boyfriend's girlfriend. I your
Who's nonchalant. Nonchalant, like he acts like he doesn't care about you. Because I like a lover boy. I want you to make me feel like, yeah, you love me, yeah, you care about me. So acting nonchalant towards me is a turn off. So that's my first red flag. And also being mean and stingy. Because actually my love language is gift giving. And I'm very kind with money and all sort of things. So if I'm with you and you are stingy I can't be with you. Like, it won't work because I always want to spend on you and I expect you to reciprocate the same energy and also spend on me. So that's my 2 red flags: being nonchalant and being stingy, and also being too friendly with girls. That's all. That's my 3 red flags. Thank you.
My red flag in a relationship is with a man that has too many female friends. It's a very big red flag for me. It's just as simple as that. You have too many female friends and don't even know how to keep boundaries and communication with them. For me, it's a big no. It's a very big no. So yes, having too many female friends.
Hi, Honorable here from the Lifestyle Podcast. So, my deepest shade of red is when I find out that a guy is a twin. What do you mean you're a twin after our 3rd date? So, who have I been going on the 1st and 2nd date with? I mean, that is very, crazy because, I don't know who you are anymore. You should tell me that on our 1st date. And also, secondly, when a guy is not considerate, one of love's other languages being considerate. And when you're not considerate, like, for example, you tell me we're meeting up, you're going to grab lunch or whatever, and you go grab lunch, and you don't ask what I want to eat. Really?
Okay, so my red flag in relationship has to do with, first, someone who is dishonest. Someone who is always lying, like crazy, Charlie. She can't be honest in anything at all, always trying to hide something, can't be transparent in stuff she does, thinking that she's acting smart. That person, Charlie, you're all for me. And another one has to do with lack of accountability. You see, some people, they always want to blame someone else for their own action. So when that happens, it's like the person can't be responsible for her own action, and as such, it is totally red flag for me, trust me.
So first of all, a man who brags, he wants you to know he has everything, them kind of things. And also a man with a bad breath. Hush.
Sam Snake.
So some people's red flags, someone who, yes, my friend that I got through my husband and has turned into my best friend that we've known for years, has a child for my husband, and they once dated and are still seeing each other. Yes, my best friend and my husband once dated back in school, but they never broke up. They've been seeing each other all this while, and he now met me, got married to me, and even after we had our kids, she's gone ahead to have a child for my husband. And it didn't end there. Can you imagine that I found out that he has relocated my best friend and her child to the UK without my knowledge? So I have always been talking to my best friend every other week through WhatsApp calls, not knowing that the entire time we've been having our conversations, she's also in the same UK. I don't know what to do. How do I go about this? And most importantly, how do I move past this betrayal? In some world. Wow. Lola, hearing the story, what went through your mind?
This is super crazy.
I swear.
I can't imagine how heartbreaking
it would be.
It would be for her.
Yeah.
I really can't imagine her mental state right now because you've been betrayed by 2 people
that you consider the closest people in your life. Yeah.
And they are the ones who have done this to you. And
they did it so brazenly.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, how do you even hide? How do you... We'll be having video calls. Oh. And then all this while, you are also in UK.
Yes.
And I'm in UK.
Yes.
And we are pretending that you are in Kaswa or where?
My husband's child. I don't know.
Wow.
But to be honest, I don't think there's much you can do. Because it's something that they, like you said, they brazenly did in front of her, and she needs to consider her options right now. I don't think the husband is going to stop having an affair with the so-called best friend. The child is not going to go away.
Absolutely.
So what are your options here?
But how do you leave someone in a different country? So the thing is, especially when you travel to the UK, like when you go into the Western world with family, it's a very lonely shift. Going from having a very popular social life, having friends, all of that, and then now moving to the UK or the US or Canada, wherever, and you have nobody and nothing. And you have built a life around your husband, who's your support system, and now you're finding out that the one person who's supposed to have your back, who is literally keeping you sane, all this while has been lying to you in the worst way. Someone you consider your best friend brought that person to the UK. That money, where did he even get from? Is it your joint funds that he used to finance his girlfriend to come back to the UK? Brought the child with him, like basically has relocated and was probably plotting in a way to
leave you.
Yeah.
And do they have kids? That's one question.
That's true.
Kids?
Yeah.
How old is this child that they have? Because she mentioned that they went to uni together. So probably, for all you know, this relationship started way
before
back in uni, before you guys even decided that you want to get married. So it may go deeper than she even thinks. So she really needs to have a sit down and evaluate the situation very well, because they betrayed you. I don't think they're sorry about it. If you continue to be in that relationship, what happens to your respect? What happens to your self-worth? Can you make it work again? Can you trust this man again? These are all the questions that you need to be asking yourself.
Oh, let's see what people's comments are saying online. Chantel Budu says, this thing called marriage, that's why it's important to be mentally and emotionally prepared before you enter, because anything and everything is possible along the line. May she find strength in the Lord and God's guidance. Basigu says, her friend doesn't have any obligations towards her. She's also a survivor who needs a man to help direct her. Please use the time to engage an economic expert to find solutions in our crippling economy.
This is important too.
OB says, if he's responsible, she should take it as a mistake from her husband for her own mental health. It's normal for men to be more than one woman if he's only responsible. People. Tranquilo, Francisco says, if you can forgive him and continue your marriage, then do just that and know that he's married to the two. Omar says, if the bestie's child is older than her children, then it's not cheating. But if the bestie had a child after the marriage, dear, that's totally unacceptable. Clarence says, I'm waiting for someone to introduce me to his bestie. If I can't be your bestie as wife, no one will. Look at this. Francisco says, this bestie thing,
Yeah, cause the rice is due.
Oh, well. Sending your thoughts 0559242717. That's 0559242717. Please share your thoughts and give us a call now, and we will want to hear from you. Say it again. Go ahead.
So he says, if people don't know, with sexual relationships, it's more exciting and sweet if you do it with your wife's best friend, wife's sister, close sister. The excitement alone makes the bond great. They have a lot to talk about, particularly when they're with the victim, who doesn't know they are doing this behind her.
Wow.
So some people actually find this exciting.
They clearly do. Because, can you imagine? On that note, joining us now, and I'm sure the rain has prevented her from getting here on time. It's Rebecca Osam. She's a woman empowerment activist and director of the Femme Fatale Studios. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. I'm sure the roads are a little slippery tonight. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. But before we even get into it, what are your red flags you look out for before you get into a relationship with someone?
There are so many red flags you need to look for, but I think what I have to say is that everyone has their own personal red flags based on the experiences you've had in the past. There are some things you know that if you see again, it's a no.
What are some of yours?
I think, for example, if you start dating someone and they're a bit too clingy at the beginning, I think that's a red flag.
Okay.
Someone who wants your time constantly so early on is a red flag.
Okay. Okay. I can identify with that. But we're on to our second story for today, and let me do a quick recap for you. So a lady is reached out to us telling us that basically her best friend, who she considered her best friend, but met the best friend through her husband. So her husband's colleague, coursemate in school, and bestie in school became her best friend once they got married. They've been married for 3 years. They relocated to the UK a year ago, and all was well and good. She reached out to her friend, she still has a really good relationship with her in Ghana. Now, she just recently found out a few days ago that the bestie, all this while that she thought was just a friend or close family friend, was actually an ex of her husband. And it didn't end there. They never actually broke up. They've still been seeing each other for the last few years, and to the extent that they now have a child together in their relationship. A child she didn't know about. At least she didn't know that he fathered. She didn't give us enough details, but we can assume that she didn't realize that he was a father of the child, whether the child is newly born or she's known about the child for a bit. Now, she's also recently discovered that the family is there in the UK. He's relocated his bestie and the child to the UK.
So now they're in the same country.
In the same country, and she didn't know. And they've been having regular WhatsApp video calls for the last year, where she assumed he was home in Ghana. But she's been in the UK with her all this while. Now, she's devastated, as you can imagine, and is not sure what to do. Hearing the story, what are your first inklings on what are the first thoughts that are coming to you? And secondly, what she should be thinking about doing?
I think this is a tough one. Jesus. Wow. But I think, first of all, she's been in the dark this whole time. She needs to, first of all, accept and realize that these people are not good for her. They don't have her best interest at heart. Therefore, she, if possible, needs to get as far away from them as possible.
Appreciate.
Because if people can hold such secrets, huge secrets like this right under your nose, those people are very dangerous to your life. And they could do even more harm to her than they have done so far.
Appreciate, yeah.
And if she has found out now, take it as God showing her the light. Because for all she knows, there could be even worse plans.
For him to relocate them there.
I mean, to keep this kind of thing a secret for so many years, these people, she needs to get away from them as fast as possible.
I can agree to that.
And then she needs to take time to reevaluate herself and the choices she has made when it comes to people. Because for her to end up in a situation like this, her responsibility in this is her having these people in her life. So she has to find a way to look back on the red flags that she missed, because there would have been some.
I can agree. Now, this is, and I was asking Lola before you came in, a situation where being in the UK or being in any country, relocating from your home country to any country must be very isolating. And you relocate with a life partner. Only to realize that this man has been betraying, lying, and doing everything imaginable to you. Even how he relocated her stuff, we don't even understand if the funds was even, some of the money was even yours or not. How do you now start afresh? Especially in a new country.
It's going to be difficult for her because she also has children, right?
Well, she didn't indicate that, but we can assume.
I mean, it would be easier for her if she doesn't. But regardless, whether she does or not, she needs to take her time and figure out a plan of how she's going to get out of there safely and in a way that won't harm herself. So she should take her time if she can. Maybe if she has anybody she can call on for help, she should do that. Talk to friends, family, get some advice from people who love her to help her out of this. But I'm sure she can do it. She's been there for a while in the UK, so she can get a lot of help from, you know, even the government institutions, and there are lots of helplines she can call if she has no one out there. If she has no one out there, she can call people at home. But she needs help, and she needs support, she needs guidance to get herself out of this situation.
I agree.
As for that, she has to get out.
Now, let me throw this to both of you. Is it more painful if someone cheats with someone close to you or cheats with someone completely random?
I think it would be more painful if the person did it with someone close to you.
Would you
If it was
prefer
would you prefer not to be cheated on at all?
But in the situation, appreciate. But in the situation that you find out that someone has cheated on you,
It shouldn't be someone I know. Like, it means you.
it makes it easier if it's someone you
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's like a
Taking me
double
for a fool.
whammy.
It's like double betrayal, because that you also have to deal with the other person.
Also,
doing
you
that.
prefer do it with a random,
Yeah,
but
do
but
it
not with
with a
some not my bestie.
It's
painful.
sicker
because
as well.
You know,
Ah.
if you're my man, you cheated on me. The person I go to cry to is my bestie, and you've done this with this
Charlie,
man. Who
why
I
do you
to?
go
Double
to?
heartbreak.
Hey, it's hard though.
Yeah.
Look,
And also, how many millions of hundreds of thousands of other
you couldn't find
people are there? You
anybody,
couldn't at
Someone
least
so close.
keep it away.
nobody at all in this world you could find, but someone that I know, someone that is my bestie.
So it's going to be so hard.
It's really not right. It's difficult.
Should you be becoming besties with your husband's friends or your partner's friends? Is another
I
question.
don't advise that.
Yeah.
Mm?
You should
No.
find your own clique.
You should be civil, but you shouldn't become besties with your husband's friends.
So, in the situation where she actually goes to, maybe you find that your a friend of your husband, you have a lot in
You would
common with
always
them.
have your husband's best interest at heart. You'd always have the other person's interest at heart.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So find your own.
So avoid-
You need to find your own life. as well,
Avoid your
you know.
partner's friends.
Don't avoid.
No,
don't
avoid
them, but
making
don't get
them
too
besties.
involved. Yes, don't get too involved, because
Eh?
also what happens, people, coming too much into your relationship is also a big
Yeah.
problem. It's another thing you don't need to add. Relationships are hard enough.
True.
Here's a case. He's friends
Yeah.
with both you and your husband. You don't know what she's telling him or telling you. You know?
It becomes
So
more complicated.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay.
And then boundaries as well. There are certain boundaries you have to set. And I think, you can be civil and everything, if there's an
Yeah, I
emergency,
totally agree.
that kind of thing. But you don't need to be calling each other up and, hey, how you doing? Do you want to hang out?
What becomes too much? Dealing with your husband's friends. What limit is crossing the limit?
I think there's no need for personal, private conversations about your relationship or your own life. There's no need for that.
Okay. So keep it civil, but
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
far.
Yes.
I have friends who, their husbands are not around. Their husbands' friends keep them company, but just like Friday night out. That's it with the whole group.
And you should hang out with them all together.
Yes, yeah, the whole group.
Ah, never one-on-one.
Yeah.
No, that's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
You just bring in more. Why?
But you want to be a good person.
You
now.
can
keep,
be,
Keep
from
all of them
afar.
close.
In such a situation.
You want to keep everyone close.
No, it's
From
never
afar.
a good idea.
Oh wow.
Not everybody needs to be that close.
Okay, well,
You can have your own friends, but your
Uh-huh.
husband's friends, let your husband's friends
be
his
his friends.
Yeah.
It's important for you as a woman to have your own life, your own clique, your own thing going on. And if you make your life about your husband's, what's gonna happen if things don't go well? You lose your whole world.
Not sure. Okay. Well said. And now, what are your thoughts about it? You can send us a message. Most importantly, you can also tweet at us. We'll be getting in some of the conversations you are having on the sidelines very shortly. But also, DJ Phil, let's get into a few more of those red flags as well. Because we asked people their general red flags. We played a few of them. We'll get into a few more before we wrap up the show. But our stories today, and of course, you can go on our social media feed as well to also be a part of it. We're also streaming live on Facebook as well. And we'd love to hear from you now. I am, of course, joined by the very lovely Lola Senaya and Rebecca Osam, who are my yings to my yangs, and keeping us company on this very exciting topic today. Now, our second topic, or our first one before you came in, let me quickly...
So, AJ, before we go back,
yes.
Let me just ask Rebecca, you would advise that she doesn't stay in this marriage?
Definitely not.
She should definitely leave.
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere good for her. Because I think this one is one of those ones that cuts too deep.
Yeah.
And if you forgive this, you are done. He's going to wipe the floor with you for the rest of your life.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah.
And
there's no
you said
coming back from
something
it.
that you don't know what other plans they may have for you. Some people
If
go
they
as
can
far as
keep this kind of
killing,
secret, I
you know,
mean...
to get you out of the picture and everything.
What if
So-
he married her, gets her some life insurance?
Yeah.
Next thing they know, they want to run off into the sunset together and do what... You know, I'm just saying, people are capable of anything. And why would you even put yourself in a place where people can be this vindictive towards you?
She needs to ask
It's
herself
not
some
right.
serious questions.
She missed a lot of red flags.
She definitely has. So our first one we did quickly, a young lady was asking that she's dating a man, or she doesn't know she's dating him, but she thinks they may be dating. He's 40 plus. He's asked that they keep the relationship a secret. They've been intimate like twice, but she feels she's not emotionally tied to him. She doesn't miss his presence, and she has a feeling he's hiding things from her. He talks about past achievement, but he's always very vague about his job. He talks big, but she feels that he's lying. What should she do?
Girl, bye-bye.
You're not even like, there's no entertaining, nothing.
She doesn't feel anything from him anyway. So, and the fact that he's being secretive, do you want to start your relationship like that?
True.
Do you want to start, now that you're seeing these red flags, before you have feelings, get out. Because if he's already starting off having secrets, oh girl.
Now, if someone says, I want to keep our relationship private, secret, I don't want anyone to know our business, how do you react to that?
Unless it's something, he's a very important man or something, this might hurt his career or something like that, a reason that makes sense, then I think that's a red flag.
Do you feel that the person must flaunt you if you're in a relationship with that person?
Sorry?
Must you feel that your partner must show you off, flaunt you, put you out there?
I don't think, because that's an intention. That's the wrong intention. You shouldn't have a partner to show them off, and you shouldn't have a partner to hide them. I think you have a partner because you want to pursue something good, and you feel a connection, and it's a good connection. It's going somewhere. I think those things, if those things come in, the fact that you even having that conversation, for me, is a red flag.
Well, some of the usual red flags you feel. Let's take a listen.
My red flag in a relationship is when a lady start to ask for money, like I'm responsible for her when we are not married. That's a red flag for me.
Oh, I see. My red flags in relationship: dishonesty, insincerity, not being considerate. I wouldn't say not being loyal, but not being caring. I'm a woman, and I don't expect you, a man that I'm dating, say, maybe he and me was a big soul. Like, as a rational human being, you should know, like our parents do. Oh, maybe you're being here, even though we know about your partner, just as I am. Randomly. If you are my guy, randomly I buy you gifts. I can give you money whenever I have. So I expect the same. If not the same, something like that from a man or the man I will date. So aside that, if you're insincere, if you're not faithful, inconsistent in your behavior, I'm someone I will know just by looking at you or by experiencing life with you for just a month. I will know. So those are my red flags.
So the red flags in the relationship for me will be a guy with a typical traditional mindsets. Okay, a guy who still thinks that a lady's job in the house or work in the house is to do all the house chores, and then not necessarily only the traditional mindset, but also wants a modern woman, a woman who works and bears some of the bills. pays for the bills and still wants this woman to perform your typical traditional women role without him helping, that is a no for me. If you have that mindset, no-go area. Also, a guy who consults his parents on major decision making before he embarks on the decision, that is a no for me. If you're a grown-ass man, I would want you to solicit advice from your parents, no doubt about that. But to rely solely on whatever they tell you without assessing or analyzing your own thoughts, that is a no for me. Yeah, I think these are the two major red flags. I would walk out of a relationship if I see it.
Well, my red flag in relationship is refusing to apologize when you are wrong, violating my boundaries, always speaking poor about your past relationships and partners, and most importantly, a guy that stinks. Like, it really puts me off in relationship. If a guy stinks, like, I don't really like it. It disgusts me. So that's my red, some of them.
Well, some of the red flags, did you recognize any of them that stood out to you? Well, yeah, what are your red flags? Let us know. Send us a message, 0559-242-717. Call us and tell us. We have about 3-4 minutes left on the clock. I think I can take one call or so, but yeah. Getting to some of the messages now. And Alberta says, Charlie, I completely agree with the red flags aspect. Some of them you see before you go into it, but sometimes we are also very stubborn. We think love can change it all, Charlie. And I think largely that falls to ladies. We think, oh, we can make the man better. We can work it out. We can help him. We can change them. And somehow we get lost in all of that.
I think before you even consider that for a guy, let him show you that he's worth your time and that he's worth you putting that energy into him.
Well, okay, I agree with that. Our call on the line. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Nana.
Hi, Nana. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about today's stories?
Cool. The second one, I always say, pray you get good people around you. You don't really know what goes on in people's mind.
Very true.
People's real intention, only time that can tell if they are good or bad. So I just pray that we all get good people around us, and maybe the world will be a little better.
Oh, Charlie. But in her situation, do you think she should walk away completely? There's no salvaging.
What would she do? If she wants that, she should stay. This one, there's a you can't say she should leave or not, because she's not me.
Yeah.
And I'm not her.
Yeah.
If it's me, it's just straight up, I'm leaving. But maybe, you never know. Maybe she's someone who can handle some of these things, and they will talk, go through counseling, blah, 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 and she'll still stay. Yeah, but I mean, something like this, yeah. Nah.
We can't work, right?
You see, living with some criminal people, yeah, that's what
when they get you, they'll kill you.
Yes, like you can do this to your friend.
Your best you.
Exactly the point. You see. So you don't even know who to trust anymore.
Charlie.
We just pray that we meet good people, that's all.
I'm amen
the
to
red
that.
flag issues, yeah, some way, Charlie. If you are broke, I don't know, no lie.
Your red flags there. That be what?
You don't have to be broke. There's two types of broke. There's the one that you are just going through a phase. The lady is just going through a phase.
Yeah.
And if you speak to the person, you realize, oh, the person has plans, the person has ambition. It's just that the person, that one there is cool. But and there's the ones that she's broke, and she thinks that the boyfriend is the problem, but she doesn't see herself as a problem.
Wow.
You are broke. There's things that upkeep is somebody's responsibility. That kind of broke people.
We don't want this in our lives. We jump and pass. Thank you, Nana. Thank you so much for calling. So there are two kinds of broke. There's broke that has ambitions as a woman, and there's broke that is hoping that the man will take care of her. Now I know the difference. But final words for our ladies before we go. Our first one who is wondering if she's dating herself, or the second one where her bestie may become her sister wife. Rebecca? Final words on what you think they should be doing, definitely.
Okay, so I think the girl who doesn't even know she likes the guy, there's no point in us even talking anymore. She should just delete his number or block him or move on. So I think hers is easy. But obviously, the lady who's been married to this guy and she's been with him and her best friend and everything, she's gonna have a double heartbreak. So she has to know that it's gonna be really hard for us to leave, but for her well-being, honestly, she needs to leave, because this would just, even if she stays and she thinks she can fight it, it's so toxic that it would eat her from inside out. It would kill her and she would die inside, honestly. And even apart from that, I don't believe she's even safe.
Yeah.
I think she really should muster up the courage and find a way to get out of there. And her life will begin after she leaves the situation.
Yeah, I completely agree. Lola, what should she do?
I totally agree with Rebecca, because these people clearly don't have your best interest at heart. If she hadn't found out, they would probably have gone on to have other kids. She doesn't know. So she, like I said before, she needs to ask herself some serious questions. If you continue to stay in that relationship, what are you staying for? Who are you staying for? What happens to your worth? What happens to your respect? She needs to consider all of that. I know family members who go like, oh, remember, dear, this is how they are. You give it to God. Everything will work out. Everything will work out. Take your time. But ask yourself, you are the one in the relationship. You're the one wearing the shoes. So ask yourself some very deep, serious questions.
And
if you have children as well, if she has children,
yes, it'll be a good idea.
Does she want to raise her children in this kind of toxic environment? Are these the lessons that she wants her children to learn? So,
Charlie. Yeah. Very interesting questions for our ladies this evening. But I have to say a big thank you for the lovely ladies that joined me today on the show. Lola Senaya, she is a producer director. Then, of course, the very lovely Rebecca Assam. She's a woman empowerment activist and director at the Femme Fatale Studio. Thank you for joining us, Rebecca. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday, at exactly 7 p.m. for another exciting edition of the Girl Squad, keeping it real. So make sure that you do stay tuned with us. Our repeat will be on Saturday evening as well, right here on 3FM 92.7. So make sure you're tuned in for that. But my name is Aja Kwako Sapon. And of course, always a pleasure bringing you the show. Join us next week for another great one, but keep listening to 3FM.
This is 3FM.
And of course, a big shout out to DJ Phil, who's back.